All right, guys, so one of the most frequently asked questions in brewing is what is the one single most important factor for making good beer? And you'll get answers that range from fermentation temperature control to ingredient quality, recipe building, but in my mind, it is cleaning and sanitizing. That is the single most important thing that you have to nail every single brew day without question. Beer is food. So you are making something that is going to be consumed and drunk, and you want it to be perfect. And so to make something that is not gonna spoil, so mold or get bacterial infections, or there's any number of things, preventing that is far easier than trying to overcome any of the off flavors or downright dangerous things that can happen if you do end up spoiling a batch of beer because of poor sanitation. So let me define this real quick. First, there's cleaning, and then there's sanitizing. And you're gonna see those things, they are not interchangeable. Those are two different terms. I'm gonna basically go across the board with what my process is for cleaning and sanitizing all of my equipment, both after use when it comes to, say, the fermenters, and on brew day as well. So this is gonna sound like a commercial from 5-Star, but the main products that I use are PBW and Star San. I would like to think that these are the most common ones. You can certainly get them at any homebrew shop, on Amazon, directly from 5-Star. These two products are the home brewers, I guess, go-to. There are other companies that make common ones, but for this course, I'm teaching you how I do things. So here it is. So first there's cleaning. Cleaning means to get gross debris out of the way. So after you're done with a fermenter, it's gonna have a ring around the edge where the Croisen line was. So that's where the fermentation top foamy stuff is happening. That just cakes on there. So whether you're using a plastic bucket or a stainless steel fermenter, you're still gonna have to get that off. That is where just good old fashioned dishwasher soap works. This is exactly what I use. I've got the scrubby pad and the brush. Just get some soapy water down in the bottom and just go to town and clean it. Once it is visually clean, depending on what it is, say a boil kettle, I don't need to do this because that's hot side. But cold side, say the fermenter, it needs to be perfect. And so that's where this is a stubborn stain, make things shiny, sanitize everything, one-stop shop. And so you follow the directions on the back of here. It's 1 to 2 ounces of PBW per gallon of hot water, and you can let it soak. So you can either stir it up, fill your kettle all the way to the brim, or your fermenter and let it soak. Or if you're using pumps and stuff like I do for stainless steel, I run it with a ball. So this is a CIP, that means clean in place. I set it up, I only use like a gallon or 2 gallons of hot water so that I'm using less of this, and it's just gonna recirculate it through that stainless steel fermenter and go to town. I'll just set it and forget it. I'll come back half an hour later, drain the PBW, move on to something else, like I'm cleaning a keg next, reuse the same stuff. That's where this guy comes in. Then, right before I'm gonna use that fermenter again, so it's sitting there perfectly happy, closed up. Right before using it, I am going to use Star San to sanitize. So remember, we talked cleaning, and this is sanitizing. So this is a no rinse sanitizer. You literally put some into a spray bottle, spray the inside, spray ports before you're about to take samples, spray the inside of your fermenters, anything that's gonna come into cold side beer. So as it's about to be packaged into cans or bottles, Star San everywhere. And so the point of this is to instantly kill anything that's on the surface of that vessel, can, bottle, hose, anything you do needs to be sanitized. In a simple setup, so if you're using a bucket to make your beer, or rather, after you've boiled, You're gonna move that into a bucket. As long as you took the proper steps with this, it's very simple to clean all of that. So like I said, you just go through the motions here, you clean them. As you start getting into more complicated setups, so say I brought this out. So this is a plate chiller. You gotta get into the nooks and crannies of things, and that means using pumps and time and heat to sanitize everything. So the higher end gear is gonna require some extra steps. Absolutely worth it. And again, you're gonna just let the chemicals do the work for you to make sure that everything is done right. So I'm also gonna use this. This is an inline filter that I'll use for transferring from a fermenter into a keg. If it's dirty, so obviously run it out, rinse it out with water, but then take it apart and literally just throw all of this stuff into a bucket of PBW. Let it set there, bring it out, rinse it, put everything back together, and that way you know that everything is safe and clean. Again, I tell you, cleaning and sanitizing is the single most important variable to get right in brewing. There is no shortcuts here. Do it. It might feel like a pain, but it's absolutely worth it, because the last thing in the world that you want is to ferment a nice big batch of beer that you made and then realize that it's infected and you gotta dump it. And that is simply no fun. Ask me how I know. So that's cleaning and sanitizing. Hopefully that made sense to you. There's plenty of literature, and I'm gonna put the links down to the specific things that I use in the notes for this episode. Catch you next time.